Blending modes are a feature in Photoshop that allow you to do some really amazing effects that can really enhance your images and make them look really dramatic. So let's start with this standard landscape photo, and let's see how we can add some drama to it using blending modes. Now, I'm going to start with this paper texture here, and I'm going to overlay this paper texture on top of that photo. Now, you can make textures like in a variety of different ways. One way to do it is actually make your own textures. Another way to do it is to go out and photograph or scan really interesting pieces of paper, sides of buildings that have kind of cracked or peeling paint, anything that you see in real life that has an interesting texture to it. Take a photo of it, save it on your computer, and then you can use it in your Photoshop projects. So I'm just going to use the rectangle marquee tool to take a little selection of this, and then I'm going to hit Command C to copy that selection. I'll go back to my original image, and then I'll hit Command V to paste that selection into my document. Now, the selection I chose was a little bit small, and we want something that's going to fill up the whole image. So I'll hit Command Z, I'll go back, and I'm going to take a bigger selection. And this is really important. The textures that you use need to be able to fill your entire image. So now I'm hitting Command C again. I'm going back to my document. I'm hitting Command V. And I'm going to rotate this texture so it covers up my picture. So I'm going to hit Command T to bring up the transform controls. I'm going to rotate this until it fits over my picture. Now, if your texture doesn't completely fit over your picture because it's a little bit too small, here's a cool thing you can do. You can just duplicate it by hitting Command J, click V for your move tool, and then move it over. We have a little bit of a line there, but you can just use your eraser tool on a nice, soft setting. We can get this to kind of blend together. So the point is, I want you guys to use creativity in filling up your image with textures. Okay, so now in order to get this to work with our blending mode, we're going to have to merge these two layers together. And I'm going to hit Command E as in Ernie, to merge those two layers together. And now I'm going to change my blending mode from normal to overlay. And see the difference? We have this really cool texture that's been overlaid on top of our picture. It almost looks like a painting now. So before, just a boring old picture. After, on overlay mode, it makes it look really interesting. And if you were to use, say, like the black and white adjustment layer, turn this into a black and white picture, and then change the blending mode of that to overlay, you can enhance that kind of textural look and get a little bit more contrast into your picture. Now, you may have noticed that the blending mode that I used was overlay, and the image that I used was black and white. So what's going to happen if we take a texture and put it on overlay mode when that texture has color in it? It's going to look a little weird. The overlay blending mode is going to colorize my image, and it's also going to increase the saturation. Now, you may not be wanting to go for this kind of look. You may want more control over your textures. So this is why before you change your texture into the overlay blending mode, desaturate that texture. Now I brought this image in as a smart object by going to File, Place, or by just dragging this texture in using drag and drop from my Finder window. So it came in as a smart object. So you need to rasterize your smart object before you start making adjustments to it. To do that, go up to Layer, Rasterize, Smart Object. And now we can use a shortcut key to quickly desaturate this. Shift-Command-U. Shift-Command-U to desaturate. And now I can change the blending mode to overlay, and you can see the texture appearing in the image. Before, that's your image with no texture on it. And after, that's your image with texture on it. Now, if you want to really increase the textural appearance of this image, you can use the Levels Adjustment layer and use a clipping mask to clip this adjustment layer to your metal texture. Watch this. I'm going to hit Alter Option, and I'm going to click on the line between levels 1 and the metal texture. And then I'm going to adjust the contrast. And as you can see, Levels is just adjusting the contrast on my texture layer and not adjusting the contrast on my underneath layer. Alrighty, so now you have a few things to play with your blending modes and texture.